Hello everyone, my name is Kelsey Lee and I am a licensed expediter in the city of Brotherly Love. So I am a business owner, PhillyKelsey&Co. We are a licensed expediting firm. We handle permits and licenses on behalf of our clients. So a lot of our clients, they consist of a real estate developer, a contractor, and actually contractors are the topic of our segment today. Before I go into that, I just wanted to give a little bit of a disclaimer and kind of give you some background about this YouTube series in general. I am not a licensed real estate agent. I am not an architect. I am not an attorney. Everything that I talk about on these videos are based on my own experiences with the goal to help you keep things moving, keep your projects moving, especially during COVID-19. My role and my position in this industry in Philadelphia is one of the few sectors of construction that's actually still in operation when you're talking about the non-essential businesses that the government has quarantined due to the virus, just to help reduce the spread of the virus. So this conversation is very much centered around Eclipse. So if you're a contractor and you're one of the few that actually is still able to perform the work, it's most likely due to the property being a healthcare company. Whether it's a hospital, whether it's an office building, any kind of healthcare is allowed to continue construction. And that's aside from general maintenance for residential, but anything that requires a building permit, you're gonna have to know how to use Eclipse, especially if you're gonna be pulling mechanical, electrical, or plumbing permits. In addition to that, you're gonna need to know how to use Eclipse. The reason why I'm talking about contractors and why I wanna focus on contractors for this segment is because, like many experienced contractors who've been in business for 30, 40 years, these are the guys that you're gonna trust on a job, especially if you're picking from a pool of contractors in general. You're gonna wanna go with the most experienced. Now, the most experienced, maybe not the most savvy with technology. If I'm speaking to you and you are that contractor who is about to rip your hair out using Eclipse, I have good news for you. I'm going to explain the process very simply on how it's different from when I was actually filing permits down in the Municipal Services Building in Center City, Philadelphia. The Department of Licenses and Inspections had a previously scheduled migration from being able to only process and file applications for permits in person versus an online portal. Now, this system is called Eclipse. So the awesome timing of this whole thing is that right when the quarantine went into effect, the city had already had a planned, scheduled migration of being able to process building permits online with plans. Now, typically you'd have to lug this down into MSB and, wait in line, wait for your number to be called, and then you have to go and sit in front of the first layer of the approval people that need to actually take a look at your application and make sure that you have everything that is required by the city. Now, with the easy permits especially, this is also goes the same with plans, but when you're talking about getting easy electrical permit, these are issued same day. Typically as a contractor, you already are aware that you have to have your updated insurance, you have to have your tax clearance, and you have to be able to provide the prerequisites like a building permit that's on file. Because if you're doing anything that's structural, you're gonna need to provide plans for your project in order to start the application process for that permit. On top of all of the prerequisites that you're gonna need for the plans, any kind of documentation, the structural design criteria form, stamps from a variety of different departments of Philly, including the City Planning Commission, the Philadelphia Streets Department. If you're taking up room on the sidewalk and you need a temporary permission to use that space, or you are needing to get approval from the Historical Planning Commission because your building that you're renovating is historic. So there's a lot of different people who have a say in your project, but ultimately what it comes down to is process and understanding how things work now. Contractors, there's two different sides to this equation. There's general compliance, contractor compliance, which is in the realm of your certificate of insurance, any kind of notarized documents that were required for you to get your license and maintain it year after year after year for license renewal. And additionally, on top of that, you have to prove that you are active. So anytime that you could be filing a permit and then halfway through the permit process, your insurance expires, this is all about the compliance. So you have to make sure that you're updated on this side of the equation online. Now, the other half of it is all of the needs from my role. So as an expediter, to be able to process a permit, I need X, Y, and Z. It starts with the building plans. It starts with the electrical or the mechanical or the plumbing plans. Once I have those, I'm able to break down the estimated costs of the application fees that the city is going to require. So if you already have this information going into it, you've already taken off the majority of the work. And this is something that we do at PhillyKelsey&Co. before we even accept payment. It's really nice. It's just one transaction. It gets it done. It's off your plate. And then I just stay into communication with you as we progress along the application process. Back to the two sides of the equation here. You have general contractor compliance, and then you have what the city needs that is specific to your project. Before, you could just walk in, you brought all the materials with, all of the certifications, the tax clearance, all of that. That all kind of just went into the building application, permit application, whether it was a building or an MEP. But really, these are two separate things. I can start a building permit application without designating a contractor right in the beginning. I always say the more RFIs, requests for information from the plans examiners, or in this case on the Eclipse, just additional information required, as they say in digital speak, you're gonna have to make sure that the contractor that you're assigning to that permit has all of his valid documents. Now, what's been happening is, and I've actually been very proactive about this because I knew this was gonna be an issue even before Eclipse was fully launched, is making sure that I am able to pull up their account on Eclipse and see that everything is valid even before I begin the project. So working directly for contractors, this is something that I already do. I'm gonna look at when your expiration dates are and make sure that you are 100% buttoned up on the side of documentation. Unlike before, where you had to provide a tax clearance form and they'd have you sit on this unsecured computer down in the municipal services building and print it out to prove that you're up to date on taxes, Eclipse does that for you now. You don't have to provide that. It's part of the system. It's part of the checks and balances that they've set up in the background of their software. So if you've got that taken care of, awesome, you're already way ahead a lot of the contractors that I've been working with. I do actually offer services to set up your documentation. A lot of times what I'm seeing on the compliance side of your own profile in Eclipse as a contractor is that you've provided all this information with the city, but it's not showing up on your account. It's your job to make sure that all of the city documents on that side, behind the doors, are in front of you on your profile. So takes a little bit of work because one, there's this thing called an online identifier. This identifier doesn't mean anything. It's just more like the city's verification that you are who you say you are. So I've actually been able to obtain this number, which generally is on your renewal statements when you get your license renewal for the year. But I'm actually able to get this directly from the city. And please keep in mind, this is all things that you can do on your own. But again, do you want to spend time doing it, or do you want to delegate it to someone who could get it done quickly and efficiently? And that's what I do. I've been actually converting and associating all of these prerequisite documents for the trade license in addition to the commercial activity license. So I've also been hired to actually get contractor's license in general. So I'm very, very familiar with this process. Please, if you have any questions, please comment and I will certainly get back to you, because I know the frustration right now with the stay-at-home work order, and I understand that there's a good amount of incentive to get the permit process done quickly so you can get paid and you can get that final inspection. Inspections, I want to talk about in a later video. Now, there's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of bugs with using Eclipse, so I'm certainly available for help. I know the city is a little bit difficult to get a hold of. The other day, I made a call, I got right through. And then the other day I made a call and I was sitting on hold for about 15-20 minutes. I was the 9th caller, so of course I had to wait. So if it's something silly that's preventing you from being able to process that permit application, please call me. I am certainly available. Please email me. Either myself or my assistant, who's extremely wonderful, will get back to you within, our response rate right now is like within 2 hours. So, we are really dedicated to ensuring that our local industry has the right information to be able to empower you onto whatever project you're doing. Now, if you are looking to scale, right now a lot of businesses are just maintaining their operations, but hey, if you're a contractor, this is your dinner. This is your family. My goal is to lift some of this burden off of you and trying to navigate this brand new software that's already got glitches and be able to do this process for you. I actually did one last week for another contractor and it came back today with an RFI. The plans examiner needed one thing, which was a refined scope of work, which I didn't really understand. But you know what we do what the city says and everything's fine. You just do what they say, you follow the instructions, and things will just move quickly through the process. And that's another point, it's gotta be managed. So if you are expecting the plans examiner to give you a breakdown of every single little thing that they need to see, that's not gonna happen. Sure, that might have happened if you're sitting in front of the plans examiner and they're giving you more time just because they wanna help you out. That's not gonna happen online. The amount of information that they give you is like this compared to what they used to when you were actually sitting in front of them in person. Yes, I understand this is frustrating, but this is the digital realm. This is the kind of trade-off of having the convenience of still being able to file in your own home. Now, they do have remote workers out there. Plans examiners are working remote and things are moving quickly. This is a great time to really dive deeply into your pre-construction planning and really understand each component and why they're requesting this documentation and absorbing it, because everything that you learn now is just going to carry through to your future projects. And you're also going to make your clients extremely happy because you've been able to produce an approved permit within a week. So this is happening. Please, again, drop a comment. This is my second video, and I am doing a weekly series to help my fellow friends and fellow real estate professionals move along their construction projects with less of a headache. Dealing with the city is very delicate, and at this point, I've gotten it down. Friends, family, I hope you are well. Clients, I look forward to speaking with you soon. And again, drop a line in the comments below. And you can also reach out to me at PhillyKelsey&Co. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you in a jiffy.